Dawn breaks over the Wiltshire hills, a pale sun spilling through a quilt of fog. Crows lift from the churchyard yews, their wings beating against the damp air. The bells of morning prayer ring faintly through the valley, calling the day to order. A boy stands by the window of a rectory house, the chill of the glass against his fingers. He watches the light crawl across the stone walls of the village church opposite, watching, measuring, learning. His breath fogs the window. In the next moment he's gone, dashing across the creaking floorboards, chasing a thought that's just sparked alive. Downstairs, the smell of ink and candle wax thickens the air. His small desk is a clutter of parchment, ink pots and odd mechanical scraps. Pulleys, bits of thread and brass wheels taken from an old clock. The boy bends close, eyes wide and bright as the candlelight flickers across his sketches. Towers, arches, curious machines that move with gears and weights. He hums softly, lost in concentration, the world outside falling away. Through the narrow window, the village stirs. Clatter of hooves, distant chatter, the slow rhythm of another English morning. The sound filters in, but the boy barely hears it. His hand trembles slightly as he adjusts a line on the page, his lips moving as he mutters to himself about balance, symmetry, and light. Later, at Westminster School, the noise changes. Gone are the soft bells of Wiltshire, replaced by the echo of footsteps on marble floors, the murmur of Latin recitations, the rustle of pages in candle-lit classrooms. The air smells of chalk and ink and cold stone. The boy sits near the back of a hall, eyes fixed not on the teacher, but on the patterns of shadow playing across the vaulted ceiling. Geometry, grace. He feels something stir, a sense that numbers could be beautiful, that shape and order might carry the divine. When the others leave for their midday meal, he stays behind. A scrap of parchment slides beneath his hand. A quill scratches out another drawing. This one is a small church, his own imagining. Round arches, a dome that lets in light from all directions. He leans back, smudged with ink, and smiles faintly, as though he's seen something no one else yet can. Outside, the bells of the city call out again. Louder now, brighter. They sound not like an end, but a beginning. London in the mid-1600s is a maze of stone and smoke, a living engine of trade and thought. In a narrow street near Bishopsgate, the windows of a lecture hall glow against the early evening fog. Inside, rows of young men lean forward in flickering candlelight, eyes fixed on a slender figure at the front of the room. He speaks softly. Chalk taps the board. Clean, deliberate strokes. A circle, a line bisecting it, another curve. Perfect. The air smells of tallow and dust, thick with the warmth of candles and bodies. His sleeve brushes white with chalk as he draws. Every form, he says, answers to a law. Even beauty obeys reason. Outside, rain whispers against the glass. A coach rattles past. Somewhere in the dark, a bell tolls for vespers. Inside, minds ignite. This is not only a class, it's a spark. Later, in his small study, the scholar sits alone by a sputtering lamp. The table is cluttered with lenses, parchment, metal instruments. The tools of a man who refuses to see boundaries between disciplines. He peers through a polished lens, turning it gently, watching light fracture into colour. The reflection of flame shivers across the brass. He murmurs a note to himself, something about proportion, symmetry, and the divine geometry of creation. He doesn't yet call himself an architect. He's a mathematician, an astronomer, a philosopher. But the seed is growing. He sees cathedrals in the structure of the cosmos, the same logic in a column as in an orbit. His hand moves again, this time not with a telescope, but with a pencil. Curves, arches, the language of the heavens transcribed into stone. The rain thickens, drops beat against the windows like a slow metronome. Across the hall, faint laughter drifts from another chamber. Robert Hooke, perhaps, or young Isaac Newton, arguing about gravity or motion. The air is electric with ideas. The man smiles faintly, the candlelight catching in his eyes. He closes his notebook, presses the chalk dust from his fingers, and whispers as if to no one. He blows out the lamp. Darkness folds the room. Outside, the rain fades into silence, and somewhere, deep in the mind of this scholar, the first outlines of a new London begin to form. A single spark in a baker's shop on Pudding Lane flickers and catches. Within moments, the air itself seems to ignite. Flames twist up the timbered walls, snapping through beams soaked with centuries of oil and pitch. The wind catches, feeding it, bending it, driving it on. A roar rises, not of voices but of fire itself, a sound like tearing metal and thunder rolled into one. By morning, London is no longer a city, it's a storm of flame. The sky is the colour of brass. Ash drifts through the streets like snow. Roofs collapse with a hollow crash. The bells of churches ring wildly, warped by heat. People run in every direction, shouting, praying, clutching what they can carry. From a hill to the west, a man watches. His eyes sting. From the smoke, from disbelief, maybe both. He walks among the ruins days later, boots sinking into soot and splintered beams. The smell of wet ash clings to everything. Walls lean, half burned, against one another like broken teeth. Somewhere beneath the rubble, the bones of the old St. Paul's lie buried. He kneels and touches the blackened stone. Around him, silence, except for the distant crack of falling wood. It feels like the end of something vast, and yet beneath that silence, another sound begins. Soft, almost inaudible. The whisper of rebuilding. Carpenters shout across streets, marking lines in the dirt. Surveyors pace out plots, muttering measurements. London's heart, though scarred, still beats. The man straightens, eyes following the curve of the ruined horizon. He begins to see not what has fallen, but what could rise. Wide avenues, light pouring through open squares. A cathedral that touches heaven itself. He sketches by lamplight that night. Frantic, inspired, unstoppable. Circles, axes, grand plans spreading across parchment like veins of new life. A city reborn from geometry and grace. He sees domes where towers once stood, order where chaos reigned, and in the centre one perfect dome, vast, balanced, filled with light. Outside the city still smoulders, glowing faintly red beneath the stars, but within the scholar's quiet room something far brighter burns, the idea of London made new. Morning light spills over the scaffold, the city hums below, carts clatter, hammers echo, gulls cry above the Thames. From this high platform, London looks smaller, quieter, a patchwork of roofs stitched by pale smoke. But here, at the heart of the city, something immense is taking shape. Dust floats in shafts of sunlight as the masons move, steady, deliberate, rhythmic, stone on stone, mallet and chisel. The scent of lime and wet mortar fills the air. Wooden cranes creak as they lift great blocks skyward. Every sound feels ancient, ritualistic. A city rebuilding its faith with each measured strike. He walks among them, cloak whipping in the wind, a roll of drawings tucked under his arm. The men nod as he passes. He pauses beside the half-built wall, presses his hand to the cool Portland stone, and looks up. The dome, his dome, is beginning to rise. At its base, the circle spreads wide and perfect. Geometry turned holy. Above, timber ribs arc toward the sky. A wooden skeleton of what will one day be England's crown. He stares at it, eyes alive with quiet pride and worry both. Every line, every curve must hold, not just in stone, but in meaning. Decades have passed since the fire. The city he imagined is real now, brick by brick. 50 churches rise across London, each with its own spire, its own grace. But this This is the heart. Inside the half-built nave, sunlight breaks through the open frame. Dust motes drift in the air like golden smoke. Workers' voices echo softly. Laughter, curses, prayers. It sounds like life returning. Later, as dusk falls, he climbs higher, the wooden ladders groaning under his weight. The wind sharpens, carrying the scent of rain and river. Below him the city glows in pockets of candlelight. Above him, stars prick through the gathering dark. He stands at the edge of the scaffolding and looks up through the vast ribs of the unfinished dome. It's as if the heavens themselves are waiting to be framed. He closes his eyes. He sees it finished. Light pouring down in silent columns, voices rising in song. A space that feels both infinite and human. When he speaks, his words are barely audible over the wind. And somewhere below, as if in answer, a hammer strikes stone. The bells of London are different now. They sound clearer, lighter, as if the city has learned to breathe again. Morning light sweeps across spires and domes, glinting off fresh slate and gilded weather vanes. Smoke curls from the chimneys of rebuilt homes. The river gleams, full of barges and laughter. Everywhere there is motion. Scaffolds rising, scaffolds falling, carpenters shouting across streets, the ring of iron against stone. The city smells of rain, sawdust, and new beginnings. He moves through it quietly, older now, though his eyes still burn with purpose. The men tip their caps when he passes. They know him. They call him simply the architect. Around every corner, his hand can be seen. At St. Bride's, the spire climbs like a wedding cake of white stone, tier upon tier, delicate yet strong. At St. Mary le Bow, the bells sing above the marketplace, where merchants cry their prices and children chase each other through puddles. At St. Stephen Walbrook, the dome floats in air, serene and perfectly balanced, a whisper of the grander one up the hill. Each church different, yet somehow all the same, a family of buildings speaking the same calm language. Grace in brick and lime, order out of ruin. He stops often to watch, a mason carving a cornice, an apprentice mixing lime, a painter tracing gold leaf onto a cross. Each gesture feels sacred. London is becoming a cathedral in itself. In his papers lie other visions, grander still, palaces at Hampton Court, the observatory at Greenwich, halls for scholars and kings, geometry, music and faith all woven together in line and light. Evening falls again. He stands on a rise beyond the city walls, cane in hand, and looks back. The skyline ripples in the orange glow, domes and spires, arches and towers, a composition of stone and sky. A city reborn, not just from labour but from imagination. He listens. Below, the bells begin to ring one by one, calling the people to prayer, to supper, to rest. The sound rolls through the air. He smiles faintly. The years have been long, but this sound, this harmony, was worth them all. The sun rises gently over London. It touches the domes and spires with gold, spilling across rooftops and river alike. The city breathes slowly now, the chaos of rebuilding replaced by rhythm, by order. He walks through St. Paul's barefoot on the smooth stone, listening to the echo of footsteps and murmured prayers. The space smells faintly of wood polish, candle wax and quiet devotion. Outside, the streets hum with daily life. Markets bustle, carriages roll past, children run in puddles left by the morning rain. And above, the bells, all of them ringing together, mark the passing of time. He pauses, leaning on his cane. His hand brushes the stone of a balustrade. He feels it, the weight of years, of effort, of dreams turned real. Every line, every arch, every dome carries a part of him, yet belongs to the city, to the people. His mind drifts. Faces of masons, apprentices, scholars, kings, all who helped, questioned, challenged or cheered. swirl in memory. The years have been long, sometimes lonely, sometimes frustrating, but in every struggle there was purpose. Every setback shaped the vision. The Thames glimmers in the late afternoon sun. The city stands, not perfect, never perfect, but alive. Its skyline sings in stone and light. Harmony is visible now, and for the first time in decades he feels the work complete, though he knows that a city is never truly finished. As evening falls, London exhales. A final bell tolls from the distant tower, resonant and calm. He leans back, watching the glow of lanterns in the windows. Time moves on, but the imprint remains. A reminder that vision, patience and genius can reshape the world. Modern London hums with energy, a city of glass, steel and motion. Yet beneath the bustle, Wren's vision endures. Domes and spires still punctuate the skyline, St. Paul's standing proud above the river, a silent witness to centuries of change. His harmony of form and function echoes in streets, squares and churches, shaping the way London breathes. Commuters pass under his arches, tourists gaze upward in awe, and the bells he designed still call the city to pause. Wren's genius reminds us, even in the modern world, architecture can inspire, uplift and endure.